Do 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 do. Um, Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Y'all know, look, y'all know I don't. Y'all know first of all, y'all know I don't waste no time. So I look if you don't catch the beginning, you just gonna have to run it back because I'm not gonna take time to wait for 100 people to get on here. So we just gonna get the ball rolling. I already posted the flyer. You already know what the deal. So I just want to go ahead and say thank as usual. Thank you again to everybody who be tuned in and tapped in. So whatever I have going on, I really do appreciate it. So we finna go get hit. We it's been a long day. So if the words don't come out right, it just don't. But y'all feeling me right now. So I have who we are about to interview right now, or I'm not gonna even call it interview. I'm gonna say conversation. Who are you finna see me conversate with or converse? Because conversate is not a word. It's converse. Help me. Help me. Okay, so who I'm about to converse with is a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of everybody. I'm not sure how he became a good friend of mine. You know how you just be everywhere and you see somebody and it's like, oh, I see you all the time. Oh, I see you too. Okay, we're besties. That's kind of how that worked out. So I have the greatest person ever, Stephen Knight. And when I your there it is.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
it. I have it.
So yeah, I honestly do not know. Let me take my glasses off. I can't see. Y'all, I'm so blind. Okay. So I honestly don't know how we met. We just met
Mm-hmm.
and we just been cool ever since. So I am a pre-beard Stephen Knight friend.
Yeah, no, yes, you are. You are a pre-beard friend. Like I think the last time we randomly ran into each other, and I might be lying, Lord forgive me if I am, was like in the parking lot of Rhino Coffee. But
Probably so.
I personally don't really remember a time where like I wasn't friendly with you, like at all.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
that's very Freeport though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Stephen Knight, and I am a local here to Shreveport, Louisiana. I own a local business called Nightlife Creative, which is a branding, marketing, and copywriting business. I work primarily with small businesses and artists to help them really tap into their own authenticity words. You're right about the words today, authenticity, their own brand, and help them kind of express and share that out to the world. I know that sometimes when we are business owners or we're just creative types, we don't really have the time to sit around and write a bunch of bios or contact news people or do social media posts. It's really laborsome and arduous and honestly not fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. It can be very not fun, but I enjoy helping people so much because folks poured into me. So I took
Right.
what I was best at, which is just, teaching people and helping them navigate technology. I turned that into a business.
Okay.
And I won't talk too much over maybe some of your conversation points.
Talk. Look, we got time. We got time.
but
Talk.
but
Because
yeah.
I was telling somebody, I was like, we've been friends, and I said I kind of know what he do, but then I
Mhm,
don't know what he do.
mhm.
But I will recommend him for anything because Steven can do anything.
Thank you. So but like I think that's the thing though, right? Is as a creative, somebody who like honestly like a 9 to 5 is cool. We like it. But there's like something more that like my spirit kind of calls for that I want to
Yeah.
do. I want to be out in the world like making things and helping other people make their things and being able to do that for a living, right? Like I can go and visit a client right now and 1 minute we'll be talking about business, the next minute they'll be like, "You want to take a shot?" So like it's things like that where like I really get to know people at the core of who they are, their business, why they started, what they wanted to do, and helping them really tap back into like what they love about it. I think
Right.
sometimes like our creative passions become just work, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
excited about it because it's what we do to pay our bills. and not what we do because it like lights a fire in us and we have to kind of like renegotiate
Right.
how we, coexist with it. So that's really like the core of my work is helping people reconnect with why they love what they do or why they started doing it, or maybe reformatting what they do, how they do it, and
Okay.
things like that.
Okay. So I guess in a sense, I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, you do actually, very much so.
I kind of look, I'm like, I kind of do that. I kind of do that too. But I just haven't put it all in a title.
Well, see, but it's hard to, right? Like when you're a creative, you have to be good at a lot of things.
Right.
Producing, promoting, being able to write about yourself in a way that is really exciting and enticing to people. You have to know how to network. You have to know how to properly price your services and be able to negotiate for the right price of your service. You have to
Right.
advocate for yourself and your art and your creativity and validate it in spaces where people are like, I don't need a social media manager. I don't need a photographer. I don't need a podcast host. Like they don't see the value in those things until the wider world tells them that it is valuable, right? Like, why would I want
Mhm.
somebody who can work from home to do this writing from me for me? Of course, they should do it. You are doing so many of those things that are skills that go far beyond just the
Right.
confines of an office. Yes, you're helping people. You're probably inspiring somebody right now to use their voice to not only get to know other people, but to educate folks on just being present in a moment and celebrating other people's
Right.
successes.
Okay. So let me add to my resume.
Yeah, you should, for sure.
Let me look. Let me go add to my resume. Yes, I
And
do all of this.
I do write resumes too, so please hit me up.
Okay. Look at you. Look at you. So go do you have what other services do you
Yeah.
offer?
So outside of copywriting and social media management, I do graphic design. I also am really good for helping people with setting up media contacts. I do press releases, resumes, really anything that kind of falls underneath the scope of designing and writing something. I've designed menus. I've done
Okay.
album work. It's so many different kinds. I've done podcasts. I've shot videos for people. It's all of
Okay.
that, right? I'm kind of a
Yeah.
one-stop service, and anything that makes money, I'm gonna learn how to
Listen,
do it.
because listen, life is
Mhm.
expensive. Like it's so many times I've been in the grocery store ready to snatch and run. Okay. Listen,
Look,
I need
so
all
was
this
I.
ground beef and just take off running.
It's so expensive. Like meat is hella high.
Yes.
So I get it. But no,
Yes.
I do a little bit of everything. But the bulk of my work, right, is in taking words and making them sound really pretty, and very accessible to people. Because I think sometimes people write for magazines or
Mhm.
newspapers or websites, and the language is so high-minded that it goes over the head of the people who you're trying to sell things to, or even just trying to
Right.
help, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't want to out talk somebody who just wants to support you, trying to be like
Right.
this and that. So that's
Okay.
mainly what I do.
Okay. So how did you figure out that, and we're just gonna call it being a creative because we
Mhm,
can't name all 100 things that we do
yeah.
at one time. Okay,
Mhm,
so how did you figure out, or how did you find out that being a
mhm.
creative was your thing?
Well, do you want me to start from youth, or do you want me to start from like the business point?
We want to get in your business. Let's
Okay,
start with the
perfect.
youth. We start with the
Perfect.
youth.
So I'm gonna take you through this like in a very segmented way, and then
That's
bring it up to
fine.
now. So when I was younger, I was one of those kids who always annoyed my parents about like performing. I love to sing, I love to dance, I love to act,
Yeah.
right? I very frequently mimicked cartoons and movies that I saw, especially Disney, Cartoon Network, any of that kind of stuff. I was very much into like replicating that kind of imagery and like dramaticism in real life. Like I was not a boring kid. I didn't want to like believe everything that everyone else did. I wanted to like go on adventures, and I wanted to be, you
Yeah.
know, excavators and archaeologists. So like I had a really big imagination, and
Mhm.
my parents facilitated that, you know, through both church choir, school choir, and then eventually theater. So my first choir that I ever was in elementary school at North
Okay.
Highlands, and I got my taste for music then, but even earlier, in like grade school or really pre-K. The first play I ever was in was like this weird Black history play that like fused all these historical moments together,
Mhm.
and I got to play MLK, and I was so proud of that moment. And I was like, I'm gonna be a superstar on the stage. So from there, you know, for a few years after that, I really didn't do much performing through middle school because we moved around
Mhm.
a lot. You know, I went to three
Okay.
different middle schools. Um, and then in high school, I went to Captain Shreve, where I really like was like, and I started theater because I was a jerk. I'm gonna be honest. I
Mhm.
saw one of my, you know, one of my somebody who would become my friend um, in a play, and it was Once Upon this Island. That was the play. That play was Once Upon this Island. It's a
Oh, okay.
musical, and I was just like, these people are so bad at acting. I was like, I could do better than them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so the next year, I auditioned for plays, and I got into a bunch of plays and musicals.
Okay.
Um, and as it would have it, in drama, there's a lot of drama, but I lived for it. Like I was having so much fun being in these plays and musicals like Guys and Dolls, and then you know
Mhm.
my most favorite role I ever played in high school was was in this play called Midsummer's Night Dream,
Okay.
and I played the role of Bottom, which has no correlation to to, to to stupidity elsewhere, real life, whatever. But so basically, Bottom is like this very silly
Mhm.
character, right?
Right.
Um, who is always up to mischief and making a bunch of jokes and trying to like scam people, right? And
Mhm.
it was my first time playing a comedic role. And I can remember that when I played this role, there's this big scene where I had to fall off the stage, so physical comedy. And I remember the first night that I threw myself off that stage, and the audience like wasn't sure if I hurt myself or if it was
Mhm.
like a stunt. So everybody got like super quiet, like dead quiet. And I popped up like 5 seconds later and continued saying the lines, and everybody was like
Oh,
laughing
wow.
and cheering. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
this is what I want to do with my life. I'm an
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
um, and from there, you know, that carried on through college. I did college
Mhm.
choir and performed there at Centenary. Loved it. Traveled a lot with the choir. Did a
Yeah.
lot of shows. And you know, after college, I really didn't do much performance. Right? Like
Okay.
I got a job, and I was like, I just need to make money.
Yeah.
And I spent about 5 or 6 years of my life working with the Film Prize Foundation,
Mhm.
teaching young students in middle school and high school across the state of Louisiana, and then eventually across the state of New Mexico, how to shoot short film, everything
Okay.
from concepting it to casting your characters to building a crew. I got to work with a lot of really great, intelligent industry professionals. I have
Yes.
to bring resources to kids who frankly don't have a lot of resources, whose schools often didn't have camera equipment. And we provided a lot of that stuff. And that really did a lot of good for my heart. It healed a lot of my younger self that just
Yeah.
craved to be able to create. And after so many years, now we're at the present, I decided to leave the Prize Foundation in 21, the tail end
Mhm.
of 21, and then start my own business, Not Life Creative, because I just was like, I need to do something. You know,
Right.
like I've worked for other people my entire life. I've never invested in myself. I've never done
Mm.
anything for myself. I want to take this opportunity to try to found something,
Okay.
and Nightlife Creative was yet again kind of like a reaction to somebody else kind of telling me that I shouldn't be picky and that I should just take work that people are giving me. And I was like, if that's how it's going to be, I'm just going to start my own business.
Right. Right.
And,
Right.
and I was like, what am I good at? I'm good at writing. I'm good at, speaking publicly. I'm really good at helping to really frame narratives and ideas for people so that they can showcase the best of themselves. And that's what I fall in love with. It's like, I love people. I love helping community. I love helping tell stories because stories are what connect us, and it's what excites us about daily life. There's a story in everything, right? Like,
Right. Right.
we are living embodiments of stories, and we tell our stories every day when we go out there and interact with other people and live, and then they have a narrative about us.
Right.
Ron was so nice to me, so Ron must be this really fun and funny person, and I wonder what else I could read into about Ron, right? Like, that's what I try to help people understand is all of us have something special that we can share with the world. You just have to decide how you're going to capitalize on that charm and turn it into profit or passion for yourself so
Hmm.
that you're living out your true passion and the value of who you want to be in life. And I think my passion is, what I'm going to give back to the world is helping to teach people how to connect with themselves. So that was a long but short way of how I
That's
ended up.
okay. And look, inspire me. Listen, inspire me because one day I'm just gonna slam my computer down at work and say, I'm out this month.
As you should. As you should. Your life is short but long,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yes,
You
yes.
know?
I completely understand that. Yes. Yes. So when you started your business, who was your first customer?
Oh my
Your
gosh.
not
So
customer, your first client.
so I had two people who came around the same time. Well, three
Hmm.
actually. So it was Nimatulai de Grazia, so
Hmm.
Nima with Nima's Cookery Corner,
Hmm.
Katie Larson with the Agora Borealis,
Right.
and then Desiree Mingo with Trey's Lunchbox.
Okay.
Those three were laid the foundation of my business.
Okay.
And, I think it's really important, especially for me, to make a point to always recognize and uplift women business owners because they saw the purpose in me way
Hmm.
before anyone else did, right? They saw the value in the work that I contribute, and they wanted to help me make my money, even when I know for a fact there were days where they weren't making a bunch of sales. They
Yeah.
still came through and said, "How can I support you?" Like, those are my ride or dies, and I'll tell anybody, um, those businesses are for real, and they care about their customer and their craft, and if they can't make it happen directly through their business, they're going to find a way to support their business so they can
Hmm.
still give to the clients and the people that they love and support. And just big shout out to, all women, especially Black women, because
Hmm.
they really were there for me. And I don't think Black women or women business owners in general get enough credit for how they hustle and put other people on.
Right.
So they were my first customers.
Okay. So my next question is, okay, how many clients do you have now?
Oh my
Because I
God.
saw, listen, no, because we're gonna talk about it because Hunty, I saw you post, I saw your post, I probably commented on it too,
Mhm.
where you posted a flyer with all your clients and it was full.
Yeah. So thank you. I've had so many clients over the years.
Mhm.
I keep a couple on retainer. And
Okay.
right now, I probably have about 10 clients that, like, I'm constantly
Yeah.
checking in with. And then I have several others that kind of continuously come back to me and new ones all the time, right? Like, I can't do everything. So I
Right.
pass them on to other people. Um, like, I get calls all the time about, managing social pages or small things like they'll want,
Yeah.
catering menus, or they'll want me to write resumes, or they'll want me to do website copy, or maybe they want me
Right.
to update their websites, things like that, right? Or they just want media kits, right? Or
Right.
EPKs. The thing that I think is really, really important when I'm thinking about all those clients I have is that I stay really aware of the industries that they work in
Mhm.
and the things that they need that they don't yet have, and
Mhm.
helping them get to a place where they're ready to start constructing those things because somebody's going to ask for it eventually. It's just a matter of, are you going to be ready when somebody asks for it? So yeah.
I'm taking notes on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You got to stay ready.
Hey, absolutely.
You got to stay. I tell people, I tell people that a lot because my thing for me, my thing is I'm just now
Mhm.
like really maybe between this year and last year, like I just really started like promoting myself,
Mhm.
but I still haven't like put out
Mhm.
everything I do.
So like, okay, because I'm really interested in your brand in particular because I think
Go.
because I think that you have like a really fun brand. So like,
Mhm.
of course, I'm gonna ask you questions, right?
I'm listening.
Like, I think that what you do with your personal profile is so like connective and engaging that
Hmm.
the fact that you kind of like play with being serious but not so serious that you're not going to tell somebody, get someone else to do it, right? Like like it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'm always looking for Ron's next post because some of it is business, but even if it's business, it's all play,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
like I think that's what companies should be looking towards. Like
Okay.
if I was running a business where I needed like an ambassador, I'd
Hmm.
be calling you because you have a way of connecting with people that
Hmm.
make them feel safe enough to joke about everyday
Right.
stuff, right? So
Yeah.
like I think the idea of like, oh, I don't promote myself, it's kind of like false because you do, right? Your
Okay.
brand, like I can see in my head right now one of your flyers
Okay.
because you are the brand and you're always marketing
That's
yourself because you're
that's true.
always present,
That's
right? Like eat like to not to quote Megan Thee Stallion, you're always present even when you're not there. So it's like it's one of those things that when you think about promoting a brand,
Mm-hmm.
people associate like iconography, they associate people with
Mm-hmm.
brands before they think about like the thing you actually do,
Right.
right? So like I don't think it matters as much that you're not telling people everything that you do as
Right.
much as you're starting to like showcase, oh, hi, I'm Ron Brown as a person, I'm a creative. I know that you do photography, I know that you do podcasts, right? So when you're ready to roll out the other stuff, you can do that however you want to. If you say,
Right.
I'm Ron Brown and I'm also, a media personality, invite me to your events to host, to ask questions, to interview, invite me to one of your mixed and new media classes to talk to your students about how to write and script an engaging interview with somebody who is hard to get to come out of their shell.
Right.
You could
Right.
literally brand yourself today as somebody like that because marketing is all in our mind, right? Like, yes,
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
practical.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, like yes, there's a practical portion to it, but the application of marketing is perception. Do people
Absolutely.
perceive you to be the kind of person that they'd want to take information and advice from? Have you as a person established yourself as an authority figure in those spaces? If you say you're that person and then you back
Hmm.
up that you're that person by continuously showcasing how you
Yeah.
exist in those spaces, yeah, who am I to tell Ron Brown that they're not a media personality that is
Right.
professional?
Right.
Because you're practically doing it every week, right?
That's very true.
So this is in a sense your marketing.
That's very true. Look, and you know what? I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Like you could say right now, hey y'all, if you're looking for somebody who can help you set up your production for how to do a podcast, I'm gonna do like you've done this where you've already done classes on
I
podcasting.
have, and I actually had. I just posted
Okay.
not too long ago that I do have another pod. I do have a lot of people missed the first free
Uh-huh.
podcast class, so I do have another one coming up in September.
Okay, plug it now. What are we gonna learn in the podcast class?
So this one is basically for this pocket. The free classes are basically for the beginner, so we're just telling them how to start off, what type, I ask their budget, what type of equipment they want to use. Sometimes I tell people that they don't need a podcast because there is a difference between podcast and content.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't necessarily need a podcast, they just need content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I also was telling people as well, like some people are afraid of quote unquote being on camera. So I was telling them as well in the first podcast class that you can do voiceover. So you don't even have to be on camera. You can just
Mm-hmm.
simply do the voiceover, and that's content.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I explain stuff like that in the class and showed them how to come up with the subjects per se.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had someone email me a sheet and it was like 2 pages per se. It was like 2 pages, and I was like, okay, so really this is like 2 or 3 months worth of topics because you trying to do too much and you got a whole page for one show. This is really like 2 3 months worth of stuff.
And see, that's incredible, right? Because you just being able to discern the fact that, oh, you have 20 questions,
Mhm.
3 or 4 questions will get you 30 minutes into a show,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that those small things that you're kind of sharing, like that promotion that you just did is excellent because that's nuanced stuff, right?
Mhm.
Knowing how to script a podcast, knowing how to ask the right question, active listening, all those things are separate classes that you could monetize, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and make no mistake about it, you're doing it well. So I really, I'm excited for it, and sometimes the value of those classes is helping people understand that they don't need a podcast,
Right,
right?
because the thing is, what people try, excuse me, what people try to do what everybody else do. So because you see everybody else doing a podcast, voila, you want one too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to remind people that no way to sugarcoat it. You're not good at everything. You can't do what everybody else do. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So like for instance, for me, like you do a lot of writing and words and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good with words.
I think you're fantastic personally.
Um,
Okay, maybe you may not like to sit down and be like, that wasn't a good sentence. Write that sentence better. But like,
because okay, so with my website, I wanted to start blogging.
mhm.
I,
You know what, Ron?
look, complete fail. I tried and I was like, because a matter of fact, I wanted James to come on the podcast, and he
uh,
was like, I don't do podcasts. I'm like,
look,
okay.
see,
I said, okay.
call me next time, and
I
I'll make sure
will,
he's
because I
on.
need him.
Mhm,
He know I need him on here. He know it. So I was like, you know what? That's cool. I'm just gonna do a blog about you because he's so amazing within himself. It's like I
mhm,
have to have him some kind of way. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do a blog about you. I'm gonna email you the question. I'm gonna write up this amazing blog like I'm a Vogue editor or something like that. Fail.
No, look, it wasn't a failure, but it's an opportunity to get better.
It
And
is, and I still want to try.
mhm,
But another thing that I'm working on is like as of right, I put it like this, as of right now, like I do so much stuff
mhm, mhm.
that I don't know if I have, as of right now, the time
Yeah.
to really focus on better writing skills per se.
No, look, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you have to negotiate your time so that, like, one, you're taking care of yourself because
Right.
sometimes passions get in the way of you being healthy and sustaining,
Mhm.
like a good person, right? So even if you're like, oh, well, I can't write a blog, but for me, like my writing started when I was journaling, right? Like
Okay.
I journal every now and then. I'm like, I just want to get my thoughts out, and then eventually, journaling turns into, oh, I really like that topic I was talking about. Like, how does this come out in other spaces? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I got to this point where I'm like, I don't care what people think about what I post on Facebook because if I have fun with it and I like it and
Yeah.
like it makes me feel good, I'm gonna write about it. So like eventually, like my social feed kind of became inseparable from not necessarily like my journal thoughts, right? So I think that some
Mhm.
things should be private in terms of like other people having the ability to select into hearing and
Okay.
reading about what things you want to share, but in the sense that me being the kind of person who is okay with expressing both my wins, my losses, and
Mhm.
things that I'm working through, my Facebook in some sense becomes a blog because it's like
Okay.
here's my entry of
Yeah.
this thing that I just experienced, and the things that I learned about it. And then it's a forum because people respond to it. So your
Okay.
writing can manifest in different ways. Maybe you're not a song lyricist or writing scripts or blogging or whatever the case may be, but you are writing every time you use somebody else's medium or platform to express a thought that either someone else did have in their heart but was too
Mhm.
afraid to say, or you just wanted to get it out there because it was funny, right? Like
Mhm.
everyone's a writer, everyone's a singer, everyone's an actor. It's how many hours are you going to pour into that to develop that,
Right.
right?
Right.
And maybe now isn't the time where you're pouring endless hours into the writing, but you're
Mhm.
still writing, right?
Okay. Okay. I like that. Noted. Look, noted.
But no, so but yeah, I just I want you to remember that like you really are kicking butt, right? And other people can see it. So for whatever you feel it is, you're doing something that the average person wouldn't be willing to do, which is put yourself in front of a camera to
Mhm.
be judged and picked apart by other people
Right.
weekly, right? Like
Yeah.
someone out there is in their dark ass closet going, I don't like the way that Ron said this word, and I can't believe that they got on the camera and thought that they needed a pot. Like people, somebody out there is your
Cause somebody
opposite,
out there doing it. Somebody, cause you I'm laughing because you ain't told not a lie.
right?
Cause it's
So
somebody
they are, but
it's
like,
somebody out there doing it.
and
Seriously.
yeah, so like you have to realize that internally, because we're our own worst critics,
Mm. Oh,
and
oh my gosh.
yeah,
Don't get me started
yeah,
on that.
well we
Jesus.
well we already started, because we're all our own worst critics, and like we're manifestations of projections of what we think other people feel about us, right?
Mm.
We manifest other people's projected thoughts onto ourselves,
Yeah.
internalize them, and then say, well, this is who I am, right? Like
Right.
so and so would never talk to me because they think that I'm ugly, and I'm gonna feel ugly and start carrying myself in a certain way around them
Yeah.
because I think they think something that I have no proof of, right? Because other people who I believe to have the same value and worth as them, stature as them, have said things in the past that are similar that would lead me to believe, because I haven't clarified, I've lived in that confusion, that that's who I am, right? So whatever that little voice inside of your head is saying, tell it to
Yeah.
shut up,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
just do it, you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's noted.
But no, I feel like I'm like talking over your questions.
No, you are doing just fine. So tell us what has been your biggest project so far
Oh my gosh,
that you've
I
worked
mean,
on for a company?
I will say that like my big one of at least one of my biggest projects, and ones that I'm super proud of,
Mhm.
is AJ Haynes with, well no, there are two. AJ Haynes with the Serotones asked me to do sort of like an album guide for her last album, and it was so like fun and funky to do because
Yeah.
it was all based around like astrology and planets, right?
Okay.
So she wanted me to craft this guide that would help people understand how to listen to the album from like the perspective of a queer feminist
Hmm.
black woman who was leading this band, and how she existed in that musical space and realm,
Hmm.
um, and how she kind of takes up space, right, as an artist, right? She
Yeah.
isn't interested in necessarily being mainstream, but she like fights for her art. She's an activist. She's
Yeah.
an aunt. She's a partner. She's a daughter. Like she's all these
And
things.
she's so cool. She is
Yeah.
so cool. Let me tell you, when I was in, this was like maybe 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was in the corner and I was taking pictures for, I forgot which one of the drag queen shows. I
Yeah.
forgot, but I'm just partying, having a good time, and me and her, we just dancing, and I'm looking like, I know this. It's this.
Yes.
So she was we I mean we just had a good time. We just had a real good time. She is so nice.
No, and she's like That is one of my very closest friends. Like I need to call her as a matter of fact, because every now and then we'll call and catch up, and like that's a sister of mine, right? Like I love
Yeah,
her through
yeah.
and through, and I deeply appreciate her giving me, who I felt at the time was like a rookie, an opportunity
Yeah.
to do
Oh yeah,
something
yeah.
for a touring act. Like these aren't like small artists, right? So that was
Right,
one of the
right.
biggest things that I got to do. The other being last year, beginning of last year, a burgeoning company, our theater company, Bag and Baggage,
Mm-hmm.
um, out of, oh my gosh, I'm losing the place. But anyway, a company out of Northwest America um, commissioned artwork from me to go on all their playbills for the year. And it's a black led theater company, one of the
Okay.
few in the country. And they were specifically giving out grants to artists of color or artists in communities that are typically underprivileged. And I was tapped by uh, uh, Nicholas to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what was cool about it is that like when I say networking is for real, be nice to everybody, y'all,
Oh yes,
because like
yes.
I I matched with him on Tinder like 5 years ago.
Okay.
5 years ago. And I like nothing ever came of it, but we just were like we were cool, right? We became Facebook friends and we always cheered each other on.
Right.
And I'm thinking like doesn't really care what I have going on. Like he's nice and we're friends and all that, but like he has a life. But he'd been watching the things that I was doing with work in Shreveport. It was
Mhm.
like, I want to support you and to, put money back into your pocket. And I just felt so honored by that. I was like, man, if you just remember to treat people with kindness
Right.
and consideration, you will never, ever, ever know what somebody is going to do for you in the future. So that's why, like for me, right, I always try to reach across the aisle. I always try to be
Mm-hmm.
understanding. Like I don't think being complacent is
Mm-hmm.
what you want to be in terms of like your values, but I always try to like remember that whoever I'm speaking to, even if I don't always agree with them, they are humans at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Because 9 times out of 10, treating somebody with respect, even when you don't agree with them, will
Mm-hmm.
still have somebody advocating for you in a room where you can't stand because they know you as a person and how
Yeah.
you made them feel. And I always
Right.
remember that at the end of the day, people will remember how you made them feel.
That's very true. And that's how I get a lot of returning customers as well, especially
Mhm.
with photography. So they're like,
Yes.
you always laughing, you always smiling, you made us feel comfortable, and they booked me for everything.
Yes.
It's definitely about it's definitely about being nice to people, and making them feel good about themselves, and being, they like when I be honest.
Hmm.
I be like, girl, that ain't it. Let's change this pose. That's not that ain't it. We gonna change this.
Yeah, because you're
We
not letting
gonna
them.
change this pose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not letting them look bad, and they appreciate that.
Right, right. And so, and also too, when you was talking about um what you did for AJ so far as like creating, doing her artwork and stuff, and being her guy. See, and that's what bothers me. I'm not, when I see artists, like I've done
Hmm.
a couple of album covers for different like rap
Hmm.
artists or whatever, right? But it's like here, okay, let me tell you what I'm gonna, I'm gonna be on, look, I'm gonna be
Do it. Do
honest.
it.
You
Rip it
know, I'm
off.
gonna be honest. What I don't like about some of the artists here is they just put out stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like not a rollout, basically. And they're like, "Why does no one
Oh,
support my
oh,
stuff?"
oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. It's like, here's my album.
No.
What?
And
You
you know
ain't,
what?
you ain't putting, you ain't, you look,
You
and then I start cut, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, you ain't put out nothing, you ain't do this, you ain't do that. like there, like you said, there's no rollout, there's no suspense, there's no
Mhm.
anticipation, there's no thriller. It's like, here's my album.
No, I so you're talking about a phenomenon that I've also been frustrated with is like, and I will say this, I'm not a performing artist in this city. I'm just simply an appreciator of art,
Right.
right? So like I don't know what goes on behind the scenes for a lot of these musicians, but a lot of them do it because it's like a hobby, right? Like not all of them are doing it to necessarily like ascend to anything, or
Mm-hmm.
or at least out of this market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the ones who are doing that work, because there are tons of them who are doing it, sometimes it's just like a lack of knowledge and access to resources, or they don't know how to do it, or they don't have the time to do it. Because some of them are also parents, or are going to school,
Yeah.
have full-time jobs, right? And I think the frustration from a spectator point of view is like, because we
Mm-hmm.
want to be excited about the work you're doing, we want to see
Yes.
more people from
Yes.
Shreveport make it. We want y'all to do this, but like
Yes.
you can't complain about who isn't doing what when like you aren't setting the table for other people to come to it, right? And I think that's
Right.
what a lot of people want. Is like they just want to be invited to like enjoy it and
Yeah.
sample it a little bit and be like, okay, this is an artist who like is like they're committed to it. They
Yeah.
want it, right? Because I
Yeah.
think people can tell when it's just like it's whatever. It doesn't matter to me if it does well or not, right?
Yeah. Oh, let me. Hey, everybody that's tuned in on Facebook and YouTube. Thank y'all for tapping in. So, if you don't, we already deep in the conversation. So whatever you missed, you just gonna have to run it. You're gonna have to run it back. But you still can answer questions because we always check questions.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
right now we're talking about branding, and right now I'm talking about how agitated I am with artists here who don't have a rollout for their album. It makes my nerves mad.
Yeah, no, look,
It
please
is.
ask questions in the comments if you
Yes,
have
please
them.
ask questions. Please ask questions because we are here. We are here to help. We are taking clients.
Definitely not. Because it's expensive to be alive, y'all.
It's
So,
expensive to be alive, but yeah, I just really hate that. It's like when I hear a lot of songs too because I'm on KHAM radio and Flex radio, so I have artists from different states who send me their music to listen to their music and stuff like that. So a lot of people do respect my opinion when it comes because I'm honest.
yeah.
A lot of people respect my opinion when it come. I'm musically inclined. Look, I'm like you. We have
Yeah.
we have a similar type of
Yeah. So like
background when it comes to music and performing, and I'm classically trained, so like
heck
we
yeah.
have similar background when it comes to music and performance and the arts and stuff like that. But yeah, so I really want, what I really want is these artists to do
Mhm.
better, and everybody can't afford everything. I get it.
Mhm.
But like, to build up some type of anticipation for the song, like get you a good um get you some good pictures, some good professional photography pictures for your album or for your soul or for your single or whatever you put out. Like, get some video. We have plenty
Mhm.
of content creators around here that can help you, like, get
No.
a build up
Mhm.
for whatever it is that you're trying to pull, whatever it is you're trying to put out. We have a bunch of content creators who
Mhm.
are ready to, like, to help you with the build up, like,
And you're hitting
do
on
something
like
different.
such good points, right? Because like there are so many things that are free or free adjacent to help artists in our area,
Hmm.
that I think that people either just aren't aware of, or maybe they're not at a place where like they can expend the mental capital to think about like stepping into those creative boxes. Like
Hmm.
I would always check what's going on between Bossier Arts Council and
Oh yeah.
Super Regional Arts Council.
Yeah.
They offer like educational resources all the time for
Right.
artists, right? Like literally, DJ Phase just was an artist in residence for Shrek, like
Hmm.
literally not too recently. So musical artists do have the opportunity to send to these spaces where people are paying and venerating them for the craft that they have going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they have to really think deeper beyond, well, I just have my phone, I have my Facebook, so that's it. But even in those like networks, right? Like there are trends you can do that are free to you.
Right.
There are people in your network
Right.
you can barter literally.
Listen,
Like
because look, we be needing.
yeah,
We be needing.
like you said,
Yeah.
like if you know a photographer or a videographer or somebody who just is in your network who is looking to build their repertoire and may be interested in doing something for free or at a reduced price,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you can see about getting booked at some of the venues or even just talking to some of the venue owners about, hey, look, like I know that you get a lot of people who are coming into your inbox talking about getting booked for a show. I wanted to come up here and personally meet you and just ask about like what is the best way to communicate with you and
Oh
how do I, yeah, and like
yeah,
and
and
how
that's
do I,
what
yeah.
and that's when like because lately like I be look
Hmm.
I do feel like God has definitely been taking me on
Hmm.
another level because like more people have been calling me asking me questions about
Yes.
how I do this. And like it's even when when I feel like I barely promote myself and all the stuff that I do, it's like
Hmm.
people call me, how do you do this? And I know
Hmm.
you've been doing this for a long time. I'm like, you know.
And like, don't hide that information
I'm
from
like,
people either.
how you know? How you know I did that? How you know I do that? Who sent you? Who sent you?
They creeping around, so you better watch out.
Right. So yeah, so I have gotten used to like I'm learning to and I don't have now don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem giving out any information. But as a creative too, I'm kind of a private person.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's
Look.
kind of like and I guess I don't people see me on a different level. See me, I'm just me.
Hmm.
I've never like um saw myself as a
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
But
I'm
but
just
you know
me.
what?
I'm just me. I just do what I do. It just so happened I be good at it and
Yeah.
I'm known everywhere. So I just consider myself me.
But you know what? Like we all know there's this weird phenomenon of people who like publicly are recognized in Shreveport. Like I hate calling people Shreveport famous or Shreveport, and I think that like a little bit of that is meant to be like insulting to the person that
Hmm.
you're talking about because I think it removes the idea that like you're an individual separate of the city
Yeah.
that you're in and that you couldn't do it somewhere else, right? And I think that kind of what you're describing is learning how to deal with people seeing you as a figure who knows what it's like you're a figure of authority on something, right?
Hmm.
So it's harder for you to misstep in a way or to not be approachable in public because people are like, oh, I know Ron, right? I see them all the time on social media. Like they have this weird relationship with you
Yeah.
digitally where they feel like they know you more than they do. So it almost becomes like a job to be that digital representation of yourself because people have this idealized version of you.
Right.
Well, you can step out of that at any time. It's difficult to get there, right? And I understand
Yeah.
the being private part, right? Like wanting to hide away from people when they're in your face. But yeah, I can tell you have something you need to ask or
I'm just you have really like this and you have really like put stuff you have really put a lot of stuff in perspective for me.
oh good.
Yeah, you have. Like I be telling people like when I interview people, like this interview be for me. I don't care what y'all like.
No, honestly, I have not like talking to you this whole time. I haven't even like run the thought through my head. I'm like, other people are watching. I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, nah, I don't care what y'all like. Like this is for me. I have taken something from every interview I've done this year. I've taken something for me. I don't really worry about what other folks got going on. Mm,
Well, good
me.
question for you. What do you think? 'Cause, I know we can't be on here all night. But like
Oh,
I'm
yes, we
really
can. This is my podcast. I do what I want to do.
great.
We
So then like what do you feel like is the most important lesson you've learned recently when it comes to either your art or just like the way that you move throughout the world?
ask that again.
What do you think the most important lesson that you've learned recently is when it comes to your art or how you carry yourself in the world?
I okay. Oh, look, gotta sit up for this. Gotta sit up for this one. But no, the main thing with all that's been going on
Mhm,
and all that I've been through in my life,
mhm,
it's like I just have to my main thing is just I have to continue doing me.
mhm,
That's it. I cannot worry about what other people doing. I can't sit up here and count who support me and who don't. I still have to keep going because
mm.
it's been a lot going. Look, Shreveport it's been a lot going on in Shreveport since the month of August.
Yes.
Okay. With listen, with the back was enforced, the this and that.
Mhm,
And it's like I have to continue to do me because you either gonna love me or you not.
mhm,
You gonna say what you want to say. Everybody gonna have their picks and chooses. Everybody gonna have their preference. You still have to keep going no matter what. You can't
mm,
stop doing what you doing because such and such didn't watch your podcast or such and such didn't come on your podcast
mhm,
uh anything, something like that. Like you can't stop what you're doing because something didn't go your way or you didn't get, you know what I'm saying, like
mhm,
a call or whatever. Like that's my main thing. I'm gonna keep going. I have to, like, you have to keep going in this world. Like you can't let your surroundings, what's going on in your surroundings, stop you from
mhm.
doing what you're doing. That's one of the
Okay.
main things. That's one of my main things. I mean,
Mm,
but like I've learned so much over the past, I'm gonna say 10 years
mhm.
per se, because I had multiple brain aneurysms.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna say insecure. That's one of the reasons why I don't talk so much. Because I
Mhm.
don't like how I talk, if you want me to be honest. Don't
I'm
like
gonna
it. I hate it.
uh-huh.
I am ghetto, I am country. And
But, and
and it's like
I understand that. Uh-huh.
sometimes like since my brain injury, sometimes my brain, this is why sometimes I have a hard time with words because my brain
Mm,
won't click.
mhm.
So sometimes I feel like I'm talking, but I'm really not, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
So,
And
and that's
yeah.
why I'm real about when I talk.
And I look and I validate that. Like I think that's such a real and honest thing to share with so many people. But like that, I don't even want to say bravery, like that willingness to be vulnerable with not just your audience, but with me about a difficulty that you're kind of navigating,
Mhm,
in the latter portion of your life, not even latter because you're still so young, but like in this portion of your life,
mhm.
while also considering like who am I? Where am I going to
Right,
go? Because like I'm very lucky that I get to be here and do this and
right.
live this life and navigate these things. It's so cool that even though you are afraid to speak continuously,
Mhm.
again, you get online every week and speak for a long time
I
in
do.
front of
Yeah.
people who do or don't know you, and I think that you express yourself really well, very
Mhm.
clearly. And although I didn't know you before, I think that like people often forget about the fact, because like let's be real, right? Like black people in some way, shape, or form use Ebonics every day of our lives as a way
Mhm.
of like connecting with other people who are also black, right? That is a complex language,
Yeah.
right? That requires levels of understanding culturally there's sophistications there
Mhm.
that people don't often like connect with. And
Mhm.
just because you feel like, oh, I don't speak like a middle American, I'm not
Mhm.
pronouncing every syllable and consonant in my word. I don't do that, right? Like it doesn't invalidate what you're saying because what
Yeah.
you're saying still carries weight.
Right.
And it's important that, like you said, you don't let that stuff stop you and that you get up every day and you put yourself in a position where you do have to express and articulate yourself so that
Mhm.
other people can receive a blessing out of you navigating your own challenges.
Yeah.
Like me, I feel so blessed, right? To
Mhm.
have received that from you, and it encourages me, right? Because like sometimes I'm in my head, right, and like I feel like sometimes I over explain myself. I talk too much
Mm. Okay.
because I want people to really understand me and to know my intentions. So I do a lot of this all
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm like, "Shit, I talk too much, like people ain't gonna really like mess with me like that because I was saying this.
Yeah.
So I think there's different levels to it, but I'm proud of you for not letting that be the reason why you don't live your life. And every day it's gonna get easier to
Yeah.
speak a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, and before you know it, I'm manifesting it. You're gonna be somewhere, talking to a college class or giving, a speech for a college or something like that that's gonna require you to use your voice because that's what
Yeah.
you're called to do is use your voice.
Right. 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 My church face. Oh
No, but for real, I mean that is literally your gift, right? Is to use that voice. So, for as scary as it is, I hope that you continue to develop that.
I am, and like I said, because I don't share my story much.
Hmm.
So it's like because I didn't even become a photographer until recovering from brain aneurysms.
Hmm.
So like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, look.
It's a whole lot. It's a lot. So I am getting and I tell people that it's like I have a story.
Hmm.
It's just it's a mental being through what I've been through, it's a mental process. And some days
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to tell it. Other days I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
And that's okay. Like your story is not linear, and your aneurysm is part of your story. It is not your story,
Hey
right?
man, I agree.
So like you remember that like it doesn't define the totality of who you are.
Right,
And it's a gift that you get to share it with people and include them in that journey. But
right.
like when we look back at Ron's big old book, that's going to be a blip in the
Yeah.
timeline of all the things that you've done and accomplished. Now it's all about, okay, how am I going to game this to make the most
Mhm.
of however many days I have left
Right,
count? Because no one knows what happens when we blip out of here. We all have like assumptions about what's going to happen,
right.
but we don't know until we close our eyes what's going on. So
Yeah,
make
yeah.
make it count while
Oh
you can
yeah,
open them up.
absolutely. And I tell people too, like consistency has been my best friend.
Yes.
Like I've been doing podcasts and interviews. I've been doing media. I actually been doing media stuff for a long, long, long time.
Hmm.
But lately, post brain trauma, like I've really like this year, I've really been like really consistent. So I tell people that too, like
Hmm.
consistency is your best friend.
Right. No,
Definitely,
absolutely.
definitely. Um, what is your big goal for yourself?
Such a good question. My big goal for myself, honestly, like I can't put it into hard terms. I'll be honest about that because I feel like
Okay.
I'm still defining it every day. But like something I always go back to, no matter what kind of work I'm doing, or what I'm pursuing, is like I just want to give back to the people who
Hmm.
poured into me across my life because I am a collective of all the people and experiences I've ever encountered, right? Like that's what makes up Steven, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I just want to be able to like make my community, no matter where that is, a space where other people like me who like dare to have ambitions and dreams can see possibility no matter what they
Hmm.
decide to do. Because I think sometimes our willingness to chase after things is dependent upon whether or not we feel other people think the thing that we want is meaningful, right? Or
Mhm.
what we're doing in the current time has value. Should if you're bagging groceries 7 days a week and you feel happy and you want to be the best bag grocer, then you're successful because you're happy doing it. You don't have to make tons of
Right.
money to be
Right.
successful.
Yes, I tell people successful on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
I do not measure my success compared to nobody else because nobody has ever been through what I've been through. So
Yes.
me getting up, walking every day without assistance, that's successful.
Yes. And like I think when I think about it that way,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want for myself and at the
Yeah.
end of my life is to know when I look back that I've created a space, a lane for people to be
Mm-hmm.
able to just do the things they want to without fear, to feel loved and supported through it, and
Mm-hmm.
that the choices that they make are the right choices. You don't have to get those justified and validated by other people. If you feel it in your heart, even if it ends up being the quote unquote wrong choice, you
Mm-hmm.
believe in yourself to make choice. You didn't need anybody to guide your hand,
Mm-hmm.
press the button and say do it,
Right.
right? And everyone deserves an opportunity to make a choice for themselves and live the life that they're excited to most live, even if it's going to be a struggle getting to that goal, because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you beg for the hustle, you beg for the struggle. So
Yeah.
go and get it however you need to get it and take care of yourself in the process.
Yeah.
And you know that I think that's kind of the motto I've been living by currently. Is like, if I want it, I'm gonna make it happen. It doesn't matter, what the obstacle is. If I said I want it, I'm gonna take it, regardless if the door is closed or not. I'll kick
Right.
the door down. So,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right. That's awesome. Look, we done went from we done had a whole motivational talk over here.
and you know what? Maybe we both needed it. So,
I did because I have a lot as of right now. What I have going on, I have a lot. Like
mm,
I'm really like trying to I'm really taking the time. I have before, but I'm really trying to. I'm an overthinker.
yeah,
Jesus Christ. Oh,
yeah.
definitely an overthinker. But now it's like I'm trying to really like step into what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I'm trying to get some classes together because I am going to start teaching classes
Hmm.
besides the podcast class.
Hmm.
So I'm probably gonna do some more marketing classes and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
I probably do some photography classes or branding classes as well. So I'm really trying to like take care of
Yeah.
myself and step into it at the same time.
Look, and it's one step at a time,
It's
and
one step at a time.
little.
Exactly. One step at a time. So before we go away,
Mhm.
one more time, tell us explain to us, or now you got to
Mhm.
explain, tell us what you do again, so the people
Mhm.
that's just logging on or whatnot, go ahead and tell them what you do again and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so honestly, I basically do what we just did here. Is I spend time with clients, mainly artists and small business owners, helping them re-engage with their passion.
Mhm.
Sometimes it looks like a conversation. Sometimes that's in helping them write about themselves. It's in social media marketing. Sometimes it's just that they need a sounding board to work through thoughts so that we can have a brainstorming session. Um, my passion is in helping you figure out how to present yourself to the world and use your natural magnetism and charm to sell the thing that you love, right? As artists, that's very hard because no one teaches us how to write a business plan, or how to market ourselves, or that we need a media kit or we need professional photos. I take it on as my job to help you figure out what you need and
Mhm.
then offer you a way to get that, whether it's from me or someone else. It
Right.
doesn't matter. But my job is to make sure that you're prepared for the world in front of you so that you can be the best version of yourself possible. If you want to reach me, you can do it over Facebook. My Facebook is Stephen Lamar Knight. Stephen with a V, Knight starting with a K. You can follow me on Instagram at Pangy Meets World. That's PANGYMEETSWORLD. And if you want to email me, you can do that at Steven, Steven Knight, KNIGHT, Biz, BIZ as in zebra, at gmail.com for a consult or whatever it is you may have. You can contact me through any of those venues, and I'm always happy to answer questions, even the free ones.
Okay, so usually I ask the guests to give some type of motivational speech to help creatives who might be stuck, who can't figure it out, but we've already done that.
Yeah. The whole episode was just one long speech.
So we don't need to do that part because this whole episode started off about you and then ended up about everybody else. And I loved I promise you, I'm going to run this back myself.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it. I needed. Look, you see, I don't care about nobody else. For me, I enjoyed every last bit of it, and I finally realized what one of my best friend does.
Yeah, see, look, but that's the thing though, is no one ever knows what your friends truly do. Like across the board, I could maybe tell you what one of my friends does.
Yeah,
like really tell you. The rest of y'all, I just know that you out there making your money.
that's
And
it.
like
That's
if I
it.
fell for ransom and I had to tell somebody what 5 of my friends did, oops, I can't do it. So thank y'all for working though. I love that you can pay your bills.
Right. So make sure y'all and look, the thing is, I thank y'all for tuning in to my interviews and podcast, because I don't have specific days because the people I be booking, we be so busy, we just pick a day that neither one of us is busy. So sometimes you might tune in on a Monday, it might be a Tuesday.
Whenever you can get them.
Whenever I can get my guests, that's when we gonna be on. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. You can also catch me on KHAM Radio on Wednesdays 7:30 to 8. I'm on Flex Radio Mondays and I can't even keep up myself. Monday and Wednesdays 8 to 10. Catch y'all next time.